Hello guys, in this video I'm going to go through the 3 key things you need to do to grow your business successfully. So that means putting the foundation in place first before you start growing so that you can sustain that growth long term. It's really important. Most people just focus on here's a strategy to grow, but you need to make sure you're set up properly before you hit the button on growth. So that's what I'm going to go through with you today and show you what I do with my clients to help them master their growth. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Toby. I am the owner and founder of Smart Business Coaching. I work one-on-one with Gold Coast business owners to help them get control of their money, drive their growth and build their team. In this training today, I'll go through the 3 key areas that I work with my clients to help them grow their business. Now, I don't normally jump straight into this first. What I normally do when I'm working with my clients is I make sure we are in control of our money first. So this here shows the framework that I follow. So normally I go, okay, let's make sure we've got the foundation in place to be in control of our money first. So this is the first area, money mastery. And that's because you don't want to grow until you've got the right foundations in place in your business. And one of those foundations is getting across your numbers and understanding what your numbers mean, making sure you're making profit from your sale, making sure you're turning that profit to cash effectively. There's no point turning up a business that's losing money or that's not managing their cash properly. All you're doing is speeding up your failure. So do that first, then we move, number 2, onto mastering our growth. So often one of the challenges businesses get is they don't have enough growth going on. They're not doing enough marketing. So you need to focus on your marketing. And there's 3 key things you need to do. The first thing is delivery mastery. So you need to make sure that you've got the right processes and systems set up to deliver your product or service to your clients in a consistent and effective way. Now, this is a real challenge for some businesses because what they tend to do is jump straight into the marketing and the sales, and they don't first and foremost make sure they're set up to be able to process those sales. It reminded me, I worked with a builder recently. They'd gone through some rapid growth and hadn't done those foundational stuff first, and they didn't have their delivery processes set up first. And what happened was the whole thing fell over, and they had to go backwards and kind of start again. And that's why they gave me a call and said, look, we need some help to kind of set these foundations up right first, so that when we grow next time, we don't fail. And the big chunk of that is the delivery process. The delivery process is, so how do you and your team deliver your products and service from the moment somebody comes and says yes to buying your product or service to the point where it gets delivered and everybody's happy? What happens? What's the process? What's your standing operating procedures, so your SOPs, to get that done? Because that is the core of your business. So you need to make sure you flow chart that out. So you're very clear what that process is. And I do that with my clients all the time. And often we'll put a visual flow chart of that process on the wall in the client's business, in the tea rooms or in the kitchen areas, so people could see it. We'll then give training to the team based around that. So that could be, for example, I did this for hairdressers not long ago. And we had a whole process from, okay, what happens when somebody books? What happens when they walk into the salon? What happens when you meet and greet them? What happens before the service? What happens during the service? What happens at the end of the service, including getting product sales and rebookings? What happens at the till? And then what happens after they leave? So you need to factor that all in and set it all up. So for that example, we had a flow chart of, okay, this is the process we follow. We then had scripts for the different stages. So the meet and greet when they walked in the door, the consultation before you started the haircut, what was said at the till or the end of the haircut. And these were all set up to obviously maximize customer service, maximize efficiency, and then maximize sales. So you need to set up that whole process so it's there and you've got that core there. And once you've set it up on paper, then obviously you need to train your team on that as well. So then you need to make sure you do some training with the team, and then you obviously have to hold them accountable to following that process. Those 3 key things are vital when you're trying to get team members to do things that you want them to do. You need to have the process, you need to have the training, you need to have the accountability. Often there's something of that missing. Often when I talk to clients, they don't have too much written down. The training's hit and miss, and they're not holding people accountable. One way you hold people accountable for delivering the right processes is to base your KPIs and their performance on delivery. So on them delivering a process either effectively, with the sales up properly, with good customer service. So even with the hairdressing example, we then set up KPIs for each hairdresser. We knew exactly what sales they did that a week, what products they sold, how many rebookings they got. All of the key stats were in that spreadsheet that they all saw on a week-by-week basis. And then we had one-on-ones where the manager would go through it with them and then work on strategies to help them improve in those areas. And then they would also get rewarded based on achieving those targets. And the way they achieve those targets is to follow the process we set up. What that enables us to do as well is not only get better at delivering our product or service, but it means when we do grow, it's easier to replicate. So we can get more people on board to offer to fulfill that product or service that you sell. So in this example, more hairdressers. Here's the process. And when we can go way back, and this kind of goes on the other side, we're about building a team. But part of the induction process is that they learn the delivery process. And perhaps they get some one-on-one training, perhaps they get some videos of that, they get the documents, they get everything. And then they're held accountable against that. So that's the first thing you need to do before you start looking at your marketing or your sales. Once you've done that, then you can start looking at your marketing. So marketing first and foremost starts with getting the right message for your business. And that can come across or the best way to do that is probably looking at your website and making sure you've got a good, proper website set up for your business. Because the website will include your core marketing messages. Your core marketing message needs to include, okay, why should I come to you? Why should I use you instead of somebody else? You need to make it clear what your point of difference is. Most businesses aren't very good at explaining their key points of differences. So you need to do that. A great way of doing it is actually to divide it up, and to divide it up based on what you do, why you do it, or how you do it, and why you do it. So the what, how, and why. If you can get all three of them in your marketing message, then that will help you get the more people on board. Because some people are why buyers. Some people buy into the why you do what you do. Some people just want what you do, and some people will be how you do it. But you need to get your key points of difference across, and you need to understand first and foremost what that is. Then you need to develop and make sure you've got your digital footprint set up properly. So at the center of any digital marketing campaign needs to be a good website, which has got that marketing message on there, and it's got clear call to action. So depending on what business you're in, but you need to make sure your website is set up to convert. And you need to be very clear of what's the objective of the site. Is the objective of the site to get them to call? Okay, well then we need to put enough marketing on there to get them to call, not to make the whole sale. If the website is to make the whole sale, then we need enough information on there to make the whole sale. So we need to then make sure that's set up to get good, clear call to actions to be able to get us there. And also you need to make sure the site's set up that even people who aren't necessarily ready to take the next step, they've got another call to action which we can get their email or information and start to put them on a bit of a nurturing campaign. So there are marketing funnels. So we need to make sure we've got our marketing funnels set up on the site too. So, okay, when people first interact with your business, what's the process? How do we warm them up to get to the next stage? How do we get them to a sale? So we need to map that out and then make sure it's on your website. Your website will be your central part of your digital marketing campaign. And now obviously nowadays a lot or most of your marketing is done online and are done on either Google or Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. So you need to make sure your site's set up so that when we start driving traffic to the site, you maximize your conversions. So you maximize the amount of people who take the next step, either to book in a call, buy the product, or go into one of our funnels. So you need to make sure you've got that set up properly, and then you can look at maybe your offline marketing. So some of the offline marketing I do with clients is direct mail. So I do something called a lumpy mail strategy, which we send out a mail. And this is to businesses where perhaps they're not Googling you, but you need to reach out to them. So, for example, I've got a client at the moment, they do freight. And say that they do freight for building companies or building supplies. So one of the things we're doing is we're now to reach out, we want to grow, so we're reaching out to Bunnings. And so we're targeting different Bunnings. They're not going to look for us. We've got a website, we've done that. We've got the marketing messages on the website because we know when we reach out to them, they will probably Google us and check us out. But now we've then got a direct mail campaign, which we're going to send out to them. We're going to put something lumpy in there. So it'll be a handwritten white envelope with something lumpy in there. And we might be looking at getting some engraved pens for them. The idea being is that you get through the clutter. So somebody reaches that, oh, they're going to go, what's this? And they're going to open it and they're going to remember what you've given them. And then we're going to follow them up, have a chat to them and see if they are looking or in the market for any freight services. And that's us reaching out. So that's inbound versus outbound. A lot of marketing is inbound and you need to make sure you're set up for the inbound stuff, which is making sure your website's set up, then all your digital footprint set up, social media and what have you, and then you're ready to deal with that when it comes in. The final stage to growth then is to look at your sales. So what is your sales process? Now, if you're selling directly online, then obviously your sales dealt with on the site. But if you are then dealing with getting a call, what happens next? What is your sales process? You need to map out that sales process so you know what each step is in the sales process. And then you need to set up a process to manage those leads and monitor your conversions and monitor your results. I'm working with a client at the moment. They do kitchens and bathrooms. And one of the things we do is we jump on a call each week with their sales team. And this is accountability, but we monitor how they're performing. So we monitor how many leads they had in, how many of them have converted into customers, or sorry, how many quotes were done, how many of them were converted then into customers, what the average order value was, and what the total sales were for that month. And then we've got targets for all of them. So that's then holding us accountable. And we know the sales process as well. So we get that kind of a bit from a CRM type style of thing. But we monitor that on a spreadsheet and it works really well. Since we started doing it, they have reached their targets for the last 6 months. Before that, they reached their target once in 12 months. Since we've done it, they've reached it every month for the last 6 months. We're just on the 7th month now, when we're getting pretty close to reaching the target there as well. And that has come from us managing that sales process and then also holding the team accountable and high-fiving and loving it when things are working to make sure it gets done. So if you have those things in place, that's obviously going to help you drive the sales as well if you're in that sales environment. But there's a kind of framework you need to follow to master your growth in your business, which is obviously a very important area. I would like to warn again though, just make sure you got control of your money first before you do that. But once you've done that, then it's time to drive the growth. After that, you need to build your team, but that's for another day. If you want any help, you've got any questions with this, then put some comments below. If you do want some help, you want to reach out to me, book in for a call. Happy to have a chat to see if and how I can help you. And if you like this training, please subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more where this came from. Cheers.